doors and just allow people to see us as somebody you can call when you need us.
You contribute for this country to be a bigger and a better country.
Now from WATE 6 on your side, Hidden History, celebrating Hispanic heritage.
Honoring the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hello and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bo Williams.
And I'm Madison Keevy. Now, every year we observe National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th through October 15th. And we do that by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of those whose ancestors came from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central, and South America.
The Latino and Hispanic communities celebrated at the start of Hispanic Heritage Month. Centro Hispano de East Tennessee hosting the annual Latino Awards Gala.
Now this to honor the work done by strong Latino leaders and those who help support the Latino community right here in East Tennessee.
This party tonight is to bring our community, the Latino community, in touch with all of the Knoxville community.
So for me, it is important to give back to the community because growing up here in the Knoxville area, it was not diverse how it is now. And now that our community is expanding, I feel like this is a great cause.
The winner of Centro's Latino Community Leader Award, given to someone who has helped the Latino community use its voice while promoting empowerment and educational change.
Carmen Esparza, an ESL, or English as a Second Language teacher at Fulton High School, also serves as a social worker, tutor, foster mom, and soccer coach. Her calling, in her own words, to be a bridge to help students and to empower them as they look to their futures.
Our digital producer, Melanie Vasquez Russell, has her story.
Profesora Carmen Esparza's name may be recognized in the Latino community, but she says the recognition truly belongs to everyone else.
I don't know why it was granted to me when obviously it's the work that we do as a school.
Teaching is her life's work.
And I tell them all the time, I hope in a couple of years, and I see you being a successful professional, and that's my paycheck.
There's more to her class than learning English. Carmen and her students creating a culture that stems from similar journeys and authentic connections.
Offering the opportunities to understanding where they come from and knowing what they need to be.
This isn't always easy, especially if English isn't a first language. Fulton High School has more than 200 students whose first language is Spanish. Many are from Honduras or Guatemala. Carmen helping these students with tough love and empathy.
Everything can be learned through language. So it's kind of very cross-cultural, cross-curriculum.
Beyond time in the classroom, Carmen works with Centro Hispano and the Latino Student Success Coalition, an initiative connecting them with educators, counselors, administrators, and community leaders.
I worked in different school districts, and here I have the support of the administration that is really important. I mean, everything is it's like a puzzle, so every single part is important in order to have the full picture.
And when it comes to the big picture, Carmen doesn't just tell her kids what success is. She shows it.
When I see them graduating, it just from now on, it's just growing like a big plant, like a big tree, as it's just growing. That's what I love to see.
Reporting in Knoxville for Celebrating Hispanic Heritage, Melanie Vasquez Russell, WATE 6 on your side.
What an inspiration.
Oh, without question.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, the Latino Awards don't just celebrate Latino and Hispanic individuals making a difference in the community.
Centro giving the Ally Award to a local nonprofit that supports students of every background, helping them to graduate and support their plans for the future. Project Grad was started up back in 2001, giving students college and career help along with social services support in the hopes of increasing graduation rates. Centro recognizing the organization, saying they help students feel welcome, confident, and capable.
For many of them, they've navigated things that would make us curl up in a ball. And these young people have gotten to this point and have bright futures ahead of them because of their own hard work.
We should note just more than 17% of the students in Project Grad are Latino.
Now, the third and final award is won by popular vote. Over a dozen Latino-owned restaurants nominated for the Best Latino Restaurant Award, representing a wide variety of foods, cultures, and, of course, atmospheres.
Now, this year's winner, El Charro. It's an authentic Mexican restaurant off of Sutherland Avenue in the Bearden area. The family-owned restaurant has been a Knoxville institution for over 30 years, moving into the current Sutherland location in 2016 as part of the area's redevelopment. The menu, of course, authentic Mexican food and something owners Juan and Norma Aranda are proud of. Both were born in Mexico, so providing a cultural experience within their restaurant is important not just for their family, but for the greater Knoxville community.
We started in the World's Fair in 1982. It's been a good ride. We love it. We've been family-owned and operated since then, and we still have a family restaurant. So everything is more authentic, more all country style.
Still to come as we celebrate Hispanic heritage, the annual festival celebrating the rich diversity of Latino and Hispanic culture in downtown Knoxville, now in its 20th year. We're taking you to Olaf Fest, meeting a young woman using this celebration to help others.
And the Hispanic community is growing and making a positive impact on our economy. Knoxville's mayor shares what needs to be done to continue this success.
Plus, a Knoxville nonprofit helping the Hispanic and Latino community find jobs, learn the English language, get child care. We look at the resources available through Centro Hispano. Coming up, stay with us.
Want crunchy, fresh, hot, juicy, munchy, savory, spicy, tasty food? Look no further. From amazing lunch specials to our famous $1 Taco Tuesday deal, our food will keep you and your family coming back. Plus, we have some of the best drink specials in town. So come on, my friends, experience the Festival of Flavors at an Amigos Mexican Grill near you.
I've been working for Madeline Rojero the last several years, learning the ins and outs of city government. We work together to make city leadership better reflect the community as a whole, with more women, more people of color, and people from all parts of town. Now I'm ready to lead Knoxville into the future. I'll be the mayor that helps every neighborhood thrive. As your mayor, I'm going to connect families to opportunity and make the economy work for everyone. I'm India Kincannon, and I'd be honored to serve as your mayor.
I am so excited to play for a school I love, but I'm going to tear my Achilles a year from now. I'll get prescribed opioid painkillers. When I run out, I'll use my friend's prescriptions. My family won't understand that I have an addiction. They'll lose what they love most. My mom will bury me with my cleats.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth.
South College helps prepare you for tomorrow's opportunities. With 60-plus certificate and degree programs, we'll help you build in-demand skills in areas like nursing, health science, business, and more. At South College, a regionally accredited institution, choose to learn online, on campus, or both. Our personalized instruction and hands-on approach equips you to work toward success in today's workplace. Begin realizing your dreams by visiting south.edu today. South College, where dreams find direction.
Welcome back. The Hispanic community is growing and making a huge impact on the local economy, not just in Knoxville, but all around East Tennessee.
You know, we recently sat down with Knoxville Mayor Madeline Rojero to get her take on the Hispanic community's impact and, more importantly, what still needs to be done to make sure it continues to prosper moving forward as her time as mayor now comes to an end.
The entire state of Tennessee has seen a big increase in the number of Spanish-speaking Hispanic people over the last decade.
And that includes Knoxville. The reason, pretty simple, there are jobs to be had.
I think it's because we have a booming economy. There are a lot of businesses who need people here to work the jobs. And so folks go where the work is. We have so much of our economy that depends on immigrant labor. And it's kind of like the biggest secret. You know, only it's not a secret. Everybody knows that. But yet we can't get the action that's needed at the federal level.
And that is why during her tenure, the mayor has made it a mission to get hers and other mayors' messages across to those in Washington.
Reaching out to Congress, to presidents, we've had 2 administrations during my time as mayor, and to really encourage them to tackle this problem.
Problems she has seen tackled firsthand out west.
Years ago, I worked with farm workers in California. There was a program set up so that they could come in legally, work in the fields, and help our economy grow as a country. When we know that businesses across this country and in our community are hiring workers, then we need to acknowledge that and help them come out of the shadows.
A sentiment the mayor says she hopes her successor will continue to champion.
So I hope that In addition to the festivals and the support for the social services and the kids and families in our community, I hope that the next mayor will also work at the national levels to make sure that we're really addressing the problem here, which is workforce availability and workforce development. First, we do it from a very human approach in terms of helping people feel welcome, helping them adapt and get the services they need so that they can work and their children can go to school. But there's also policies and laws and regulations that need to be realistic.
The mayor tells us officially 5% of the city's population is Hispanic, with around 10% of the children in Knox County schools actually coming from Hispanic families. She says it's important for everyone to take part in the 2020 census as we continue to gauge the area's immigrant population and what programs need to be implemented. Bo?
A nonprofit local to East Tennessee working to give resources to members of the Latino community, from education to job placement to social connections. Joining us right now, Claudia Caballero from Centro, Hispano de East Tennessee. First of all, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
For those that don't know a whole lot about what happens here, kind of run through the history and just how this helps the community.
Yes, so Centro Hispano's been around for about 14 years,
Okay.
but in the last 3 years we've really refocused our efforts to those big needs in our community. So we do a lot of community assessment, and workforce development is a need, as you know, in East Tennessee. So we do a lot of English classes, computer literacy, interview skills, soft skills for the community that's recently maybe only working in a Spanish environment and wanting to move into an environment where they're going to need English language skills. We do youth and family engagement programs, helping kids go to college, helping figure out what the best volunteer services are for them, how to get them into internships. It's really important because these kids are bilingual, bicultural youth, and they are the trends of the future. So we want to place them in good places.
And this is a community that's growing by leaps and bounds in this area.
Absolutely. So Knox County Schools has gone from 3 to 10% Latino in 6 years.
Wow.
And so currently there's about 6,700 Latino students in Knox County Schools, and it continues to grow. Tennessee is a new destination, as they're called, and so it's one of those places that the Latino community moves to for a better life, for a better family living, and it treats us well. So here we are. We have 7 full-time people on staff, but we count on about 150 volunteers every year to do the work that we do. So they leverage all of the outreach in all the programs.
How do people get in touch with you then? Whether it's they want to volunteer or if they're looking for assistance or donate. That's right. Let's not forget about that. How do they find you then?
Well, you can find us everywhere. Our Latino community finds us through word of mouth, Facebook, our website, and coming straight to our offices. And that's the same for our non-Latino community. So they're welcome to find us on Facebook, which is centrohispanotn.org. And there are a lot of, all social media, we're on everything.
Sure.
They can come knock on the door, they can find us.
They will let you in. Awesome. Claudia, appreciate it very much.
Hey, thanks, Bo. Now, some of those services include workforce development programs like language and literacy classes. The biggest component of those are English as a second language classes. Volunteers tell me that these are the kinds of tools that help remove barriers and spark success.
I always start every class with trying to get a little bit of information from each of my students. I'd like to know where they come from, what they've been through, what they expect, what they would like to learn.
The opportunities to learn at Centro Hispano de East Tennessee can be found on nearly every surface, in both English and Spanish.
Encouraging them to speak English as much as possible. Regardless of how they feel, if they feel a little embarrassed, it's better to just like get in there and do it.
Volunteers like Michelle Hester teach English as a second language classes at Centro Hispano. They see the aha moments and everything in between.
To come here 4 days a week to learn as much about the new country that they've adopted.
To be able to invest in your community, I think it's a really important opportunity.
Last year, Centro Hispano served over 300 students and provided more than 3,000 educational hours.
Whatever you begin to remove the barriers that prevent people from being the best that their potential allows them to be, that's really whenever you start to see what they can offer for the greater community and what sort of value they bring.
Literacy isn't just understanding language. It includes skills like using email, basic banking, and building credit. These classes provide freedom.
It's very admirable that most of these people work. And after work, they bring themselves in here to to work some more and working on their own accord, because nobody's forcing them to do this, but they're doing this because they want to be a productive member of our community.
For another look at those resources available through Centro Hispano and more about volunteer opportunities, we have a whole section dedicated to Hispanic Heritage Month. You'll find the Hispanic Heritage tab under the Community section. And still to come, as we celebrate Hispanic heritage, a member of the Knoxville Police Force breaking down language barriers, bridging the gap between law enforcement and Knoxville's expanding Hispanic community. And the annual festival celebrating the rich diversity of Latino and Hispanic culture in downtown Knoxville. Now in its 20th year, we're taking you to Ola Fest, meeting a young woman using this celebration to help others. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Knoxville's biggest celebration of Hispanic and Latino culture, taking over Market Square right in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month, the last weekend of September.
We're talking about Ola Festival in its 20th year, celebrating the rich diversity of Latino culture, representing at least 24 different countries. Now this with dancing, food, music, and one of the most popular parts of the festival, the Parade of Nations, sharing what makes each country unique while celebrating what we all, as Americans, have in common.
We're all the same, and we have to coexist together. And it's beautiful to see, not only that, as you saw, the United States was the first country. It's our host country for the Ola Festival. So we're all delighted to be here and sharing the culture, the American culture, because we're also Americans.
Now, a large part of the festival is wrapped around education. There are heritage booths. That's where we met one teen who's using the celebration of Latino culture to help Latino families. Mark Mellinger now has the story.
Sights, sounds, and tradition, all literally on parade in downtown Knoxville.
I was hoping to get some tacos, man, but there's a lot more than tacos here.
For instance, vendors like Allison Grussing. She's 14, and she's part of a booth raising money for Nuestros Niños, which translates to Our Children. It's a nonprofit that helps provide for the basic needs of families in Guatemala.
We buy things when we're down there because we do service trips, and then we bring back stuff, we sell it, and then all the money that we raise goes back to pay for all the service work that we do down there.
Allison was born in Guatemala, then adopted. She has since been back on 7 service trips.
Well, there's a lot of poverty down there, but everyone just, is just so thankful for what they have, even the little things, even if they don't have as much as we do in the United States. They're just so thankful and always so happy down there.
Ola Fest gives Allison a chance to help open the hearts of other people to the plight of Guatemalans. Eliodoro Lopez was one of countless folks checking out the cause and laying down their money to get involved.
I think the Ola Festival is wonderful. There's a lot of passionate people that are down here.
Ola Fest is a cornerstone of Ola Ora Latina, but the organization celebrates culture and Latino art year-round.
Every month, you can find Latino and Hispanic artists' work on display. Ola Ora has an exhibit room inside the Emporium Center in downtown Knoxville, which is right on Gay Street. This month's exhibit featuring the work of Southern Appalachia artist Christy Dunn. The exhibits are debuted the first Friday of the month. On those days, they're open from 5 to 9. You can see the work of new and upcoming artists for free.
Next month, on November 1st, the First Friday exhibit will celebrate Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. It's a tradition that originates mostly in Mexico and Central America and has spread to the U.S., honoring loved ones who have died by celebrating their lives.
Well, still to come as we celebrate Hispanic heritage, a member of the Knoxville Police Force breaking down language barriers, bridging the gap between law enforcement and Knoxville's expanding Hispanic community.
And you can't talk Hispanic culture without thinking football, the local soccer league that brings out crowds every weekend. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. Welcome back. Part of any growing community is forming a connection with local law enforcement and, of course, vice versa. And for one member of KPD, being raised in Miami by parents of Puerto Rican descent, forced to speak Spanish at times at home, well, has really paid off years later while patrolling the streets of Knoxville.
I've been called out for KFD. I've been called out for TDOT to help with the motorists on the side of the road. I've been called out by other agencies like KCSO and THP. Just to help from anything between a traffic stop, a DUI, somebody that's injured, a tire blown, or what have you.
Breaking down language barriers for KPD Officer Stephen Mercado, bridging the gap between law enforcement and Knoxville's expanding Hispanic community is always top of mind.
They're afraid of law enforcement, South America, or even Mexico, or what have you. So when they come over here, they're not really sure how law enforcement is.
And that's an image Officer Mercado and fellow officers are working to change, and that comes by being able to communicate and reassure that law enforcement here is not to be confused with officers back home.
It almost immediately disarms them. There's sort of a smile that pops up, like, oh, you understand me, I can talk to you, this is what's going on, and then we'll get into it, and we'll kind of break down a few barriers here. Hey, we're not all about this, we're here to help.
And that's the #1 goal, helping, and that comes with understanding.
I think that's a lot of what our goals are nowadays as law enforcement officers, to break down those barriers and just allow people to see us as somebody you can call when you need us.
Officer Mercado tells me that KPD's Academy actually includes about a week of learning to speak basic Spanish. He tells me just knowing a little bit of the language can help bridge what sometimes could be a huge gap.
Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Knoxville is working to be inclusive to non-English speakers. The cathedral off of North Shore has at least 4 Spanish Mass services every week. Those services on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday as part of their Hispanic ministry. They also have a number of devotions performed in Spanish and other bilingual confessions because faith is often considered a large part of Hispanic and Latino communities.
When you talk about Hispanic culture, you have to talk about football or soccer. That's right. From March to November, the Sunday League at Victor Ashe is the place to be. If you're looking for a laid-back, low-pressure sports league to join, then the Sunday League may not be for you.
On this league, most of them like to play to win. But here, they take more like kind of seriously. Every weekend, every player give their all for a game, and it's kind of competitive.
And that's an understatement. As a matter of fact, for several years now, the league has been growing. That's due in part to the increased competition, as well as being a valued aspect of the Hispanic community.
A few years back, there was no activities or sport activities, and basically soccer is a sport that brings basically people together. So there was a point we have like 20 teams back in the days, and it was big.
But unlike most leagues, the Sunday League is all about community, from the games on the field to the vendors who are pitch side every Sunday.
It's where they can meet their friends or they can get together for a couple of hours. We love to play. We're not professionals, but I mean, we're here every weekend.
Now, one interesting side note, organizers tell us that over the years, the league has become a melting pot of sorts. There are now players from Africa, the Middle East, as well as right here from the U.S. And while they don't all speak the same language, it's the game that brings them together and builds those new friendships.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. Well, thanks so much for joining us as we celebrate Hispanic heritage in East Tennessee. For more stories celebrating